Hello people, welcome to my channel, emmaldy here. I am just going to share a short video today regarding a condition that I had called sarcoidosis and how the detox tea has helped me. Now, oh gosh, the month of February has been an absolutely roller coaster in terms of emotions because I have been trying to lose weight and also just work on my mind, work on improving my mind, working on being transformed by the renewing of my mind, which is something that I had dedicated and committed myself to doing at the beginning of this year, 2017. So yeah, it's been an absolute roller coaster, but one thing that I know for sure is that consistency is key. So it's just basically taking it step by step and doing things, you know, day by day, moment by moment, minute by minute, hour by hour, thinking about what I'm thinking about to totally transform just me as a person and just be a better me. And just change for the good, you know, for myself and also for the people around me, you know, my family, my business partners, my customers, strangers, you know, basically just being my brother and my sister's keeper by just being a better me. So yeah, so I'm working on that. I continue to work on that and just have people around me who I can be accountable to make sure that I'm definitely doing what I need to be doing. So yeah, that's what's been going on the past month, but we've now entered into a new month, March, continue with the work and the progress that's going on in terms of just personal and professional development and also with my health, which I'm really passionate about, as you know, because I've been sharing this in my previous videos on my YouTube channel regarding my review and my progress with the detox tea. So yeah, I just wanted to share about sarcoidosis, which is a condition that I was diagnosed with in 2006, because a lot of people have asked me, what is sarcoidosis? So I just wanted to share in this video my experience and my personal testimony about sarcoidosis and how the Total Life Changes products have actually helped me to recover and improve my general health and well-being, following on from the really bad side effects of taking steroids and another drug called methotrexate for over a long period of time. So sarcoidosis is an autoimmune disease and it affects your immune system. So how it affected me is that I had scar tissue in my lungs, I couldn't breathe properly, my sinuses became really blocked, and I could only breathe through my mouth and not my nose. My lymphatic system was playing up. So basically I had swelling all around my face, around my eyes. Don't know if you noticed with this eye, it's slightly smaller than the other eye. And that's because I had some tissue removed from my eye so that a test could be done to see what the problem was. Because at first, when I started experiencing all these symptoms, the doctor didn't know what was wrong with me. And so I was sent to hospital to go and do investigations to try and find out what the problem was. So I had inflammations in my joints, in my knees, in my ankles, in my elbows, in my finger joints. And at one point I was actually on crutches. So it was just a plethora of various different symptoms that happened that just exploded over time. It first started with my sinuses. I thought I had a sinus problem, but I didn't, and ended up having an unnecessary operation because the doctors didn't know what was wrong with me, and I had an unnecessary operation on my sinuses, but that actually wasn't the issue because the problem came back again. I had so many different ailments. So this sarcoidosis is an autoimmune disease. It's a bit similar to lupus. It's in the same group of illnesses or diseases, if you like. It's an autoimmune disease. It affects your immune system. The only way I can explain it is that when you have antibodies in your system, your body produces an inflammation to get rid of those antibodies. And in sarcoidosis, when the inflammation chemical doesn't disappear after it's done its job, that's how you get sarcoidosis. However, when I was finally diagnosed with sarcoidosis, I was told by the doctor that there's no cause. They don't know how sarcoidosis comes about. I have no family history of sarcoidosis. but I was told that they don't know how sarcoidosis come about. There's no cure for it. So I was basically told that I would be spending the rest of my life on medication, on steroids, and on this really powerful drug called methotrexate, which is extremely toxic. I also was prescribed calcium tablets because the medication I was taking affected my bones, and so I need to take calcium to strengthen my bones. So it was an absolutely like really trying time, really challenging in terms of health, especially for someone who up until that point I thought I was really healthy. I was young, I was in my prime, I was 26 at the time. I was diagnosed with the sarcoidosis. So, and with having no family history of this condition, it was just a bolt out of the blue. So it really did hit me hard. And when I was told that I would have to take this medication for the rest of my life, that hit me even harder, because I knew that, when you take a chemical into your system, it may touch or in some way remove the symptoms. However, it doesn't get to the root cause, and so it will probably end up causing problems elsewhere in your body, and which is why you get side effects and things like that with those type of pharmaceutical drugs. So now I'm a God-fearing person. I believe in Jesus Christ. I'm a believer, and so I knew after doing research following my sarcoidosis diagnosis that God has made natural things. He's given us natural things to help for healing, to help to have optimum health, to just have general health and well-being. And those natural things are in the earth. And I became aware of those things when I started doing my research and I started looking into health at that time. I was interested in health up until the point that I got sarcoidosis, but I became even more interested in nutrition and natural and organic remedies after I was sick, because I did not want to spend the rest of my life taking medication. So that was the sarcoidosis. I took the steroids and the methotrexate for 4 years, and then one day I woke up and I said, no, I am a believer. God has said in his word that he has healed me by the stripes of Jesus. So I'm going to stand on that word, and I'm going to stop taking this medication, and I'm going to believe and just step out in faith that God is going to heal me of this condition, and it is not my portion for me to spend the rest of my life on medication. So I went back to my doctor and I said to my doctor, this is what I'm going to do. My doctor looked at me and she was like, I think you're absolutely crazy. I think you're mad. There's no cure for this illness. There's no, it could be fatal if you do not continue to take the medication. I wouldn't advise you to do that. But I was insistent that that's what I wanted to do, that I did not want to spend the rest of my life taking medication. And I was a young woman, and I just felt like, no, this is not my portion. God has healed me. I'm healed by the stripes of Jesus. So I'm going to stand on that word. So that's what I did. And the doctor said, okay, if you're insisting, that's your prerogative and that's on you. However, I would advise you to come every 2 weeks to get blood tests done so that we can make sure that everything's okay. So that's what I did. So every 2 weeks I would go back to the doctor. I would have my blood tests done, checked, everything. And then after 6 months of going to the doctor to have my blood test done, the doctor said, your blood is fine, there's no issues, we've done all the tests, everything is normal. To be honest with you, I'm completely surprised and astonished, because you seem to have been healed from this sarcoidosis, and there is actually no cure for this medical condition. So I was actually formally discharged from the doctor and from the hospital, basically completely healed from sarcoidosis. So I just praise God and give him all the glory, because he healed me. When I stepped out in faith to say, I'm not going to take medication for the rest of my life, this is what God's word said. He healed me. So I just give God thanks and I give him the glory. And that's why I am so passionate about health, because I know what it's like when you can't get out of bed in the morning because you're sick, or you can't even do simple things, basic things that we take for, day-to-day things that we take for granted. For example, brushing your teeth, brushing your hair, it got to the point of where I became so sick that I didn't even recognize myself. I lost so much weight. I'd gone down to like 7.5 stone. And when I looked in a mirror, I did not recognize myself because my face was swollen. All my lymph nodes were swollen. Underneath my eyes were swollen. You know, I had comments from family members who were just like, Emma, you don't look yourself. And there was one day I caught a glimpse of myself in a mirror, in a reflection, and I just did not recognize the person that was looking back at me. And that's when I just realized I have to do something. Within I would say 3 months of taking the steroids, I blew up. I went from a size 8 dress size to a dress size 16 in literally 3 months from taking the steroids, because it just blows you up. You just I had water retention, and my appetite just went really high. I was just eating anything. It just went crazy. And I actually really did not like being overweight at all. Like, it was just one of the very lowest times in my life is how I can really describe it. Because especially for someone who had been slim all their life, to then be overweight, you know, it was really a very hard hit. You know, so yeah, so that was the sarcoidosis, and the side effects of the medication was that I had water retention all the time, especially when it got hot in the hotter months, like over the summer period. I would basically just have water retention, especially in my legs. My legs were just filled up with water. My whole body was just bloated. My skin became really thin. My complexion became really dull. My just my general, how I felt in terms of like energy levels, my stamina, you know, I just didn't have any energy. I felt lethargic all the time. I felt tired all the time. You know, obviously I put on weight, so that kind of like knocked my confidence and my self-esteem. So yeah, there was just a lot of issues, a lot of side effects that I had. At the time, you know, I became very desensitized to touch. So if I scratched myself, or, you know, had an accident and, you know, anywhere on my skin broke out or anything like that, I didn't feel it straight away because my skin had become desensitized. So there was a lot of things, you know, that followed on, you know, negative things that followed on from me taking this medication. So that's why I was so determined as well that I was going to come off the medication, because I knew that in the long term it would affect me even worse if I continued to take that medication. So I was absolutely delighted when I came across the ISO detox tea, because this tea has got 9 herbs, natural organic herbs in the tea. And it is not a weight loss tea, it is a detox tea. So it cleanses your colon and your intestines. It cleanses out everything that is negative, everything that is bad, everything that is wasteful and that is not of any use to your body. It cleanses it out. So whether that be parasites, whether that be any toxins from pollution, from outside, from the food that we eat, from the water that we drink, it will cleanse out everything out of your system. And I tell you that this ISO detox tea is an absolute godsend for me, because I have experienced the benefits of this tea. Now, since I've been drinking this tea, I've lost over 1 stone. Now, before I started drinking the tea, I weighed over 13 stone. Now I weigh 12 stone, and I'm working my way towards weighing 10 stone, which I think is the correct weight for my height, my 5'4" frame. This tea is helping me to get rid of the side effects that I spoke of. So even though after I had stopped taking the medication, I still had the side effects were still lingering after I had stopped taking the medication. So I still had water retention. I still felt tired. I still felt lethargic. My skin was still thin. My complexion was still dull. So I still had all those things. But once I have started taking this ISO detox tea, I now feel more energetic. I now have more energy. The water retention is lessening. Now, in the past 10 days, I've been doing lose 10 pounds in 10 days, which means I haven't been having any red meat. I haven't been having any carbs, bread. I haven't been having any fizzy drinks. I don't drink fizzy drinks anyway, but that's part of the 10 in 10 days diet. I haven't had any sweets or sugar. and I haven't